The morning sun poured through the large window of the bridal suite, bathing everything in a soft, golden glow. White roses filled every corner, their scent thick in the air, almost dizzying. Maya stood before the mirror, her reflection almost unrecognizable. The white satin gown hugged her perfectly, her veil cascading like mist over her shoulders. Her heart fluttered with excitement and disbelief. After years of love, laughter, and surviving long-distance struggles, she was finally marrying Ethan, her best friend, her safe place. Today was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. Her bridesmaids moved around her in a blur of chatter and laughter. One adjusted the train, another fixed a strand of Maya's hair that refused to stay in place. "You look like a dream," one of them whispered. Maya smiled softly, her eyes glimmering. "It still doesn't feel real," she said, holding back happy tears. "After everything, we made it." In the corner of the room, her maid of honor, Lila, sat unusually quiet. She held a champagne flute, swirling it slowly, lost in thought. Maya noticed. "Hey," she said gently, "you okay? You've been weirdly quiet all morning." Lila blinked quickly, forcing a smile. "Just tired. Long night setting up everything. Don't worry about me. This is your day." Maya believed her. She always did. Outside, the wedding planner peeked through the door. 5 minutes, everyone. Guests are seated, the music's about to start. The room erupted into last-minute chaos, bouquets handed out, makeup touched up, dresses straightened. Maya's father appeared in the doorway, his eyes misty with pride. "You ready, sweetheart?" Maya nodded, her heart pounding. "Ready." The music from the church drifted faintly into the room, the soft notes of the piano prelude. Everything felt surreal. She turned to grab her bouquet from the vanity when her phone buzzed on the table. A new message. She almost ignored it, but instinct made her pick it up. The screen showed Ethan's name, a voice note, just a few seconds long. She smiled at the thought of him sending her a sweet message before the ceremony, maybe something romantic to calm her nerves. She pressed play. Ethan's voice came through, low and tense. "Greater than, I can't lie anymore, man. I slept with 3 people, after I proposed. But it's done now. I just hope she never finds out." The phone slipped from her fingers and hit the floor with a dull thud. For a second, she couldn't breathe. The room blurred around her. The chatter faded, replaced by a dull ringing in her ears. She stared at the phone, half expecting it to disappear, for the message to vanish, for it all to be some twisted dream. "Maya," one of her bridesmaids asked. "What's wrong?" Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Her throat felt tight. She bent down, picked up the phone, and replayed the message, this time pressing the phone against her ear as if maybe she'd misheard. But no, it was Ethan's voice, unmistakable. Every word sliced through her. Her bouquet slipped from her hand. It hit the floor softly, petals scattering like pieces of her heart. "Maya, talk to me," her father said, stepping closer. But she stepped back, shaking her head, eyes wide, tears beginning to pool. The music from the church swelled in the distance, the cue for her entrance. 5 minutes before walking down the aisle, her perfect world collapsed. The air in the room felt heavy, suffocating. She clutched the phone, her reflection in the mirror no longer that of a glowing bride, but of a woman who had just heard the truth that would change everything. Maya slammed the door shut behind her and twisted the lock before anyone could follow. The sound echoed through the bridal suite like thunder. Her heart pounded so hard it felt like it was trying to escape her chest. The laughter and chatter from moments ago were replaced by frantic knocking and muffled voices. "Maya, what's going on?" one of the bridesmaids called. "It's time. They're waiting." But all Maya could hear was Ethan's voice replaying in her head. "I slept with 3 people, after I proposed." The words looped endlessly, slicing deeper each time. Her hands trembled so badly she could barely grip the phone. She replayed the message again, desperate to find something, anything, that would prove she misheard. Maybe it was a joke, or a misunderstanding. But no, his tone was unmistakable, heavy with guilt, almost casual, as if confessing to a minor mistake before moving on. Her knees gave out, and she sank to the floor, her gown pooling around her like spilled milk. Tears blurred her vision. She wanted to scream, to destroy something, to wake up from this nightmare. 5 minutes before walking down the aisle, and her fiancé's betrayal crashed over her like a wave she couldn't escape. A soft knock came. "Maya, it's Lila," said the voice on the other side. Maya froze. Something about the way Lila said her name, shaky, quiet, sent a chill down her spine. "Please, open the door." Maya didn't move. She wiped her tears with the back of her hand and stared blankly at the wall. The clock on the wall ticked louder than usual, marking every second she wasn't walking toward the altar. She thought of the guests waiting, the music, her father probably pacing nervously outside. The life she was supposed to start in minutes now felt like a cruel setup. "Lila," she finally said, her voice hoarse, "did you know?" There was silence. Then, a shaky whisper. "Maya, please, just open the door." That hesitation said everything. Slowly, Maya stood up and walked to the door, her heels dragging against the floor. She unlocked it. Lila slipped inside, her face pale, eyes red, hands twisting the hem of her dress. She looked like someone about to confess to a crime. "What did you mean by, please?" Maya asked, her voice trembling with restrained rage. Lila's lips quivered. "Maya, before you hate me, just know that it was a mistake. It was before things got serious between you two. I didn't know how to tell you. I thought it would ruin everything." Maya's stomach twisted. "What did you do, Lila?" Tears spilled down Lila's cheeks. "I was one of them," she whispered. "One of the 3 people he slept with." For a second, the world went completely silent. Maya stared at her, blank and unblinking, as if the words hadn't yet landed. Then the breath she'd been holding escaped in a sharp gasp. "You," she said, her voice cracking. "You were my best friend. You helped me plan this wedding." I know, Lila cried, dropping to her knees. "It was before I realized how serious you two were." He said he was confused, that he still loved you. "It was one night, Maya. One horrible, meaningless night." Maya backed away, shaking her head. "After he proposed to me." Lila nodded silently. Maya pressed a hand to her chest as if trying to keep her heart from shattering. "You both lied to me for months," she whispered. "Every dinner, every fitting, every message, all of it was a lie." Lila reached for her, but Maya stepped back, her eyes full of disgust. "Don't touch me." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The sound of the wedding march began faintly outside, her cue. Maya looked at the mirror. Her face was streaked with tears, mascara running, but something fierce began to rise inside her, a cold, clear strength. She turned to Lila. "You know what? I'm still going out there. But not to marry him." Lila's eyes widened. "What are you going to do?" Maya straightened, wiped her face, and fixed her veil. Her voice was calm now, frighteningly steady. "Tell the truth, right where he can't run from it." She picked up her bouquet, stared into the mirror one last time, and whispered to her reflection, "No more lies." Then she opened the door, stepping out into the hallway as the music swelled, walking toward the altar, not as a bride in love, but as a woman about to reclaim her dignity. The church doors creaked open, and every head turned toward Maya. The guests gasped softly at how stunning she looked, a vision of grace framed in white lace and trembling candlelight. No one could see the storm hidden behind her calm expression. Her father offered his arm, eyes misty with emotion, completely unaware of what had just shattered her world upstairs. Maya smiled faintly, nodding, and together they began the slow walk down the aisle. The music swelled, violins, soft and romantic. Ethan stood at the altar, his face lighting up the moment he saw her. To everyone else, it looked like love. To Maya, it looked like deception wearing a suit. His eyes glistened, filled with admiration and maybe a hint of guilt, though he quickly masked it. Every step Maya took felt heavier. The faces of her friends, family, co-workers, all smiling, expecting perfection, blurred together. Her gaze flicked to the side, where Lila stood among the bridesmaids, trembling, unable to meet her eyes. Maya held her head high and walked on. When she reached the altar, Ethan took her hands. His palms were slightly sweaty. "You look incredible," he whispered, voice shaking. She smiled just enough to pass as genuine. "Do I?" she said quietly. "Good. I wanted to make sure this face is the one you remember." He frowned, confused, but before he could respond, the priest cleared his throat and began the ceremony. The familiar words floated through the air. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. Maya heard none of it. She stared at Ethan, her mind replaying the confession over and over. Her heart no longer hurt, it had gone numb. When it was time for the vows, Ethan went first. His voice trembled as he said, I, Ethan, take you, Maya, to be my wife, my partner, my one and only love. Maya felt her lips twitch into a bitter smile. My one and only love. When it was her turn, the priest gestured to her gently. But instead of repeating the vow, Maya took a slow breath and reached for the microphone. The audience quieted. Ethan looked puzzled. I know I'm supposed to say my vows now, she began, her voice steady but laced with emotion. But before I promise anything, I think there's something everyone should know, something I only learned 5 minutes ago. A ripple of confusion spread across the crowd. Ethan's face went pale. Maya, he whispered, panic flickering in his eyes. She turned to him, locking eyes. Ethan told someone, right before this ceremony, that he slept with 3 people after proposing to me. The room erupted into whispers. Ethan tried to speak, but Maya raised her hand. Don't, she said sharply. I'm not finished. Her voice echoed through the hall, strong and heartbreakingly calm. One of those people, she continued, turning slightly toward the bridesmaids, is standing right here in my bridal party. My best friend, Lila. A collective gasp rippled through the audience. All eyes turned to Lila, who broke down instantly, covering her face with trembling hands. Ethan stepped forward, stammering, Maya, please, it was a mistake. She took a step back. You're right. The mistake was thinking I could build forever with a man who didn't respect what forever meant. Her voice cracked, but she didn't let it stop her. You took my love, my trust, and used them like they were disposable. But I won't let you turn me into a fool at my own wedding. Her father moved to stand beside her, fury flashing in his eyes, but she held up a hand. No, Dad, I'm fine. She turned to Ethan one last time and gently placed the wedding ring in his palm. You can keep this. You'll need a reminder of what honesty looks like. Then, into the microphone, she said the words that silenced everyone. Greater than, I don't. The priest froze. The music stopped. The only sound was the faint rustle of her gown as she turned and walked back down the aisle, alone. Guests whispered in disbelief, some crying, some clapping quietly in admiration. Ethan called after her, but she never looked back. The heavy church doors swung open once more, sunlight spilling over her as she stepped outside, free, heartbroken but unbroken. The sunlight outside the church was blinding after the dim candlelight within. For a moment, Maya just stood there on the stone steps, the breeze tugging at her veil, her bouquet trembling in her grip. The music inside had stopped, but she could still hear the muffled chaos, whispers, gasps, someone crying. The doors behind her creaked open again as people began to spill out, but she didn't turn around. She couldn't. The air felt different out here, raw and real, and for the first time that day, she could actually breathe. Her father caught up first. Maya, he said gently, placing a hand on her shoulder. His voice carried both concern and pride. You don't have to say anything. I saw everything. She turned to him, her eyes glossy but defiant. I couldn't let him lie in front of everyone, Dad. I couldn't say, I do, knowing he already broke those words before even speaking them. He nodded slowly. You did the right thing. Then, squeezing her hand, he whispered, your mother would have been proud. That broke something in her. Not in a way that hurt, but in a way that released. She smiled faintly, nodded, and exhaled a deep, shaky breath. The veil fluttered again, and she reached up, unpinning it. The delicate fabric caught in the wind, swirling upward before drifting away down the steps. People stared, cameras still raised, but Maya didn't care. Let them see. Let them record the moment she refused to be small. Behind her, Ethan stumbled out of the church. His tie was undone, his face pale, desperation written all over him. Maya, please, wait, he called, rushing down the steps. She turned, eyes sharp, no tears left. Wait, she repeated softly. You had months to be honest. You waited until today, until 5 minutes before I walked toward you, to let the truth slip out by accident. He reached for her hand, but she pulled back. I was scared, he said weakly. It didn't mean anything. It was a mistake. She cut him off, voice rising just enough for everyone to hear. You don't get to call betrayal a mistake. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary, not sleeping with 3 people after asking someone to marry you. The crowd that had gathered outside fell silent. Even the wind seemed to pause. Maya, I love you, he said desperately, tears welling in his eyes. She shook her head. No, you loved what I made you look like. The faithful man, the good fiancé, the one who got the perfect girl. But you didn't love me. If you did, you wouldn't have gambled me away for moments that meant nothing. He opened his mouth to speak again, but she turned away, her voice softer now. I'm done explaining to men what loyalty means. Lila appeared at the doorway, mascara streaked, face blotchy with tears. Maya, please, she whispered, I'm so sorry. Maya looked at her, really looked, and for a moment, her expression softened. You were my best friend, she said quietly. I would have forgiven anything else, Lila. But this, she shook her head. You both took something from me that I'll never get back. My trust. Keep your apologies. I'm starting over without them. She turned away from both of them and walked down the remaining steps, her gown dragging through the petals scattered from earlier. Guests parted as she passed, whispering words like, brave, unbelievable, heartbreaking. Someone began clapping. Slow, hesitant, then others joined in. The applause grew until it echoed across the courtyard. Maya didn't look back, but her lips curved slightly. At the car waiting at the curb, she paused and took one last look at the church, the place where her story was supposed to begin, but where it ended instead. The irony wasn't lost on her. She handed her bouquet to a little girl watching from the crowd and said softly, you keep it. You'll know when love's real one day. As the car pulled away, Maya rolled down the window, letting the wind whip through her hair. The veil was gone, her heart was bruised, but something inside her felt light, like the truth had set her free. Later that evening, she stood by the lake where Ethan had proposed months before. The sun dipped low, painting the water in gold and rose. She slipped off her heels and walked barefoot to the edge, feeling the earth beneath her feet. Her phone buzzed, Ethan's name flashing across the screen. Without hesitation, she swiped to delete the message and tossed the phone into her purse. She smiled. Not because she was healed, but because she finally knew she would be. The wind carried away the last echo of the day, and as the sky darkened, Maya whispered to herself, sometimes walking away is the most beautiful kind of yes.